Hey guys, Let's Communications, and welcome back to another review, this time of one of my favorite comedies, Liar Liar. Trust me. This is my favorite Jim Carrey flick. I watched this when I was dealing with the whole family emergency sort of thing. I was watching a bunch of comedies, so that's why you're going to see a lot of comedy reviews, because I was watching a lot of comedies, and laugh and cheer myself up, and this is definitely a film that made me laugh my ass off. I love Liar Liar. It's a laugh riot. And it's a very thin plot, pretty much. You have this character, Fletcher Reed, played by Jim Carrey, which originally was the role that was going to be given to Steve Martin, but he couldn't do it because he had a scheduling conflict with another film, which I'm glad Jim Carrey ended up signing on for this. This is one of his breakout roles. And he was paid $20 million for this movie, which is a lot of money. But at the same time, I can't say that he didn't earn it, because he did a great job. He was really really hilarious in this. Jim Carrey is one of the best physical comedians out there, and in Living Color he was absolutely fantastic, and he's on his game here, and he's doing a lot of his sort of tics and things that he did in Living Color. The sort of dry heaving moments he has, like I can't even do it justice. He's like, he's like, and then like, bleh. It's kind of hard. I can't do it justice. I'll just grow some people out, show my tongue. But I can't do what his physical comedy. I can't even come close to Jim Carrey's physical comedy. He's a master of that. And I guess the original screenplay by Paul Gouet and Stephen Mazur was rewritten from scratch by director Tom Shadyac and Mike Binder, with further rewrites being performed by Steve Oderkirk during filming. And the basic concept of a man being unable to tell a lie for 24 hours and having to rebuild his relationship with his young son was retained from Gouet and Mazur's draft. Nearly everything else is scrapped. And there are a lot of... he was paid $20 million for this film. I guess the claw was something that Carrey's father did to him and his siblings. It's the claw! And when Fletcher literally beats himself up in the restroom, when he's kicking his own ass, no sound effects are used. Those are the real sounds of Jim Carrey's head slamming into the urinal and floors and walls. And Jim Carrey also declined the role of Dr. Evil in Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, so he could be committed to this film. And I guess Fire Marshal Bill makes a cameo in this movie, and I still have not noticed it. I just read it in trivia, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I never saw that. When Fletcher after he stops the plane, the passengers are exiting onto the tarmac, the end of the movie, Jim Carrey can be seen in the middle of the crowd dressed as Fire Marshal Bill, talking into a walkie-talkie. Now let me tell you something. So, yeah, I found that kind of funny. That's pretty cool. And Randall Takes Cop had a little bit of a cameo as Skull, but the sequence was cut out. He was one of Fletcher's clients that he was defending against a terrified old man in court, which is in a scene from that was in one of the trailers for the film. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for trivia. I mean, it's not that much of trivia, but I just thought it was some interesting sort of stuff I wanted to share. And Tom Shadyac, I think, did a great job as a director. He really had a lot of energy and verve and frivolity that was added to the film. Fun screenplay, really great, hilarious lines of dialogue. The music by John Debney wasn't too bad at point. There are some moments that are a little bit sappy. I'm going to say the whole sort of moments in it that try to be dramatic really don't work that well. Jim Carrey, at this point in time in his career, was not really that great of a dramatic actor, so the moments when he's trying to be honest and trying to be sort of heartwarming just don't really work. The kid who plays Max is definitely one of those schmaltzy, sweet kind of kids. And he's not terrible, but, I think the kid is the same kid who would go on to be in Justin Cooper. Yeah, he would go on to be Dennis the Menace, and I think that Dennis the Menace sequel, direct-to-video sequel. And he's not the worst thing ever, but he's definitely written to be this cute kid. And as a kid, when I watched this movie, I remember watching it with my dad, and we'd have great times. Which funny though is that my dad is kind of like you know, his dad, you know, it sounded like Jim Carrey in a way that he doesn't keep promises. So, you know, when they have the kid saying, you know, he doesn't keep his promises, it just kind of hits home to me, and still does, because my dad is a lot like that. But I still love him. You know, he's my dad. And the stuff with Cary Elwes I just thought was awkward. And I understand that's the point. He's supposed to be some kind of Magoo character. But he's just really even overly Magoo. When at the point where you're just like, what is the point of this character? And I understand this whole idea. He's trying to force Max and his mom. And I thought the actress who played the mother, Maura Tierney as Audrey. I think Audrey did a really good job. I liked her. She had a nice personality to her. She not a lot of fun, really. Her character. And she felt afraid to speak her mind, and I just really liked the way that character was written. And the chemistry between her and Jim Carrey was really good when it was there. And Cary Elwes is just playing this kind of Magoo guy who's getting into dating her and pressuring her to move to Boston with him. And because Fletcher Reed, Jim Carrey, this hotshot lawyer, is not keeping his promises. He doesn't show up for his son's birthday party. His son makes a wish, which is so that his dad could not tell a lie for a day, and it comes true. And that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie. It's just Jim Carrey as a lawyer trying to defend his client. Jennifer Tilly is as sleazy as ever, or skeezy. As ever, and as slutty pretty much, and defend his client and get her a bunch of money as usual, and win the case and get a promotion, and but he's gonna have to try to do it without lying, and that's really hard to do as a lawyer. So that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie, and just hilarity ensues. The film was a hit. It was an enormous hit. It was a $45 million budgeted movie, and it made $302 million. That's a really successful comedy. And good casting all the way around. Jim Carrey's great. Maura Tierney, I liked her. Cary Elwes, his character. He does a good job for what he has to do, but it's just a character I don't like watching because it's just uncomfortable and just awkward. Anne Haney as Greta, who I believe was also in Mrs. Doubtfire. Amanda Donohue as Miranda. Yeah, the chick from Lair of the White Worm. And Jason Bernard as the judge, Marshall Stevens, who I really like. I thought he did a good job. Sadly, he passed away of a heart attack pretty much after this movie, which is really too bad. The film was dedicated to him. And Swoosie Kurtz as Dana Appleton, who plays the I think she plays the defense, the prosecuting attorney. He's the prosecutor, I believe. He's the prosecutor, and I'm trying to remember if he's the prosecuting attorney. He's a career-focused lawyer. I think he's the. See, I'm not familiar with lawyer terms that well, so I'm thinking that he's the defendant, or she's the prosecuting lawyer. He's the defense attorney, I believe so. And then there are a few other. There's a cameo, a little bit role by Cherry or Terry, and a few other people here and there. But mainly what makes it is Jim Carrey. It's Jim Carrey's movie to shine, and he's just hilarious. And what I'm pretty much gonna do is talk about a few quotes. Some of my favorite quotes in the film, and do my best Jim Carrey. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but anyway, just real quick, just to go with the rest of the plot. He can't lie for a day, so now he's can't lie. So he tries to get his son to make an unwish. Doesn't work because he doesn't believe in it, and he has to go to court. He tries everything he can do to not be in this case because he can't lie, can't do what he told told us and told Jennifer Tilly that he was going to do. And so, tries to get out of it. Tries to get to the point where he kicks his own ass in a bathroom in a fun scene. He was like, "What the hell are you doing?" "I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind?" And Jim Carrey just does an excellent job in that scene because he's so good with physical comedy. And just trying to do everything he can to get out of it, and eventually he ends up winning the case and awarding the money to the girl, to Jennifer Tilly. But at the same time, he feels really horrible because then he sees that the family, the father, is actually a really good father. And then he's realizing throughout this whole sort of, day where he can't tell a lie, he's realizing how bad of a father he is. And I know I said that there are some moments where the dramatic stuff doesn't work, but there are some other moments where it does, and I have to point that out. I really do like the moment where, Jim Carrey really does realize that he's a bad father. And he's talking to his wife, and then his ex-wife, and he's like, "I'm a bad father. Look, I'm a bad father." I like that moment where he basically he admits to Audrey that he's a bad father. I'm not there for Max. I should be. Just give me another chance. And I didn't mind that scene where he pretty much is just begging his wife to give him another chance. So before, because he wants to be able to see Max as his son. And, he's messed up, and he's definitely messed up and fucked up, and, he's made so many mistakes, and he's missed, multiple chances. He missed a birthday party, he missed picking up Max from school, and it's, and this is whole leading with the whole thing where, his son is going to, and his ex-wife, who he still has, feelings for, are going to move away with this goober of a guy, Cary Elwes, and he just wants to, so that was a nice, sincere moment that I didn't mind. And so there were some moments here and there, but it's just, you could tell that it's not his forte. And this isn't a movie that works the best as a drama. It works a lot better as a comedy. And, so anyway, ultimately, in the end, he feels bad for the kids. Ultimately, he has to realize that he ends up getting put in contempt. It's like, oh, hold yourself as a reader, put you in contempt. I hold myself in contempt. And he ends up getting thrown in jail. And ultimately, he ends up getting out. He gets bailed out by Greta, his old secretary, who quit because she realized that he was a liar. But she came back and helped him. And then you have a scene where he pretty much steals one of those ladder things, that go on to kind of like a luggage claim sort of cart or something on the airport. And he steals it and risks his life and limb to, try to stop his son from leaving him. And he ends up, breaking his bones in the process. And Audrey ends up dumping Cary Elwes. And she ends up pretty much getting back together with Fletcher. He's learned his lesson. He's there for his son, and the movie ends with him and Maura turning back together, and they're starting to kiss each other and hug or whatever, and they're like, "Max, did you make another wish? Did you wish that your mom and I could get back together?" Like, no, I wish for like rollerblades or something like that. And then the movie pretty much ends. So like I'm saying, like, it's a very thin plot. Fast talking lawyer, attorney, isn't there for his family, isn't there for his son. Son makes a wish. So his father couldn't tell a lie. Hilarity ensues. He's got to figure out how to win the case, but at the same time, get his son back. That's it. It's as simple as that, and that's the reason why I really like the movie. It's not. There's not very much. There's no frills to it. There's no complicated, complex, philosophical bullshit. It's just to the point and hilarious. And so anyway, that's the plot, and then pretty much all that's left is to talk about my favorite lines. And I love this scene, where he's talking about, he's got the pen, and he's all like, this isn't a blue pen, but, it'll work, Okay, the pen is red. The pen is red. The color of this pen is this pen is the color of the pen that I hold in my hand is royal blue. Okay, if I can't say it, I'll write it. And he's like, the color of the pen is no, You write it. It's like, Mr. Reed, are you all right? And he rises from behind the desk. He's got the color blue written all over. He's got the word blue written all over his face. It's blue. It's blue. The goddamn pen is blue. So, you know, I just said it. That was great. I like the scene where he gets pulled over by a cop. And then the more funny, you know, moments ensue where he's all like, the cop's like, you know why I pulled you over? Depends on how long you were following me. Why don't we just take it from the top? Here goes. I sped. I followed too closely. I ran a stop sign. I almost hit a Chevy. I sped some more. I failed to yield at a crosswalk. I changed lanes at the intersection. I changed lanes without signaling while running a red light and speeding. Is that alright? Is that all? No. I have unpaid parking tickets. Be gentle. I just love, I really love Jim Carrey's, you know, line delivery. You know, you really sped. I followed too closely. I ran a stop sign. I almost hit a Chevy. I sped some more. I failed to yield at a crosswalk. I changed lanes at the intersection. I changed lanes without signaling while running a red light and speeding. And I just love the way that he says, like, you know, is that all? It's like, no, I have unpaid parking tickets. Just like he's, you know. And then I love the whole thing. Miranda makes love with him, and then he's all like, she's like, that was incredible. So was it good for you? And I've had better. And that's the start of the day where he starts lying, and she gets pissed, throws him out of the room, and then he's like, I've had better. I've had better. And then this actually is one of the few moments in films where a fart joke actually works for me. You know, you don't even hear the fart. You just see everybody reacting to it. And then Fletcher turns around to the people in the elevator dealing with this obnoxious stench. And he's all like, it was me! Yeah, I like that. It was me! And I like the whole thing where Greta's talking about Skull. And he knocked over another ATM, this time at knife point. He needs your legal advice. And he picks up the phone. And he's all like, stop breaking the law, asshole! And then, you know, just there's so many great moments. The homeless guy is asking Fletcher if he has any spare change. He's like, absolutely. Could you spare some? Yes, I could. Will ya? Mm-mm. How come? Because I believe you will buy booze with it. And I just want a gift from my car in the office while being confronted by the decay of Western society. Plus, I'm cheap. Ah! And then, I love that this moment he's talking to Audrey on the phone, and she's like, where were you? Having sex? Well, I hope it was with someone very special. No, see, that's the thing. I don't even like her. But she's a partner, and I thought I could help my career by making her squeal. It's like, ugh! Throws the phone down in disgust. And then even when, you know, the whole, the case starts, and the judge is like, how are we this morning, counselor? Dana, you know, she's like, fine, thank you. And how about you, Mr. Reed? I'm a little upset about a bad sexual episode I had last night. Well, you're young, and it'll happen more and more. In the meantime, what do you say we get down to business? And I like the one where he's talking about this guy who scratched his car. And he's like, you scratched my car! Where? Right there! Oh, that was already there. You liar! You know what I'm going to do about this? What? Nothing! Because if I take it to small claims court, it'll just drain 8 hours of my life and you probably won't show up. And even if I got the judgment, you just stiff me anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to piss and moan like an impotent jerk and then bend over and take it up the tailpipe! You've been here before, haven't you? I also like this sort of, you know, little bit that he adds where, you know, he's getting charged a huge amount of money to get his car back from the impound lot. And he just reaches for the air freshener, you know, and he's like, I'm taking this. And then, you know, this new girl at his work is wearing this really ridiculous hairdo, like kind of like Coolio. And she's like, do you like my new dress? He's like, whatever takes the focus off your head. And I like the one the office worker is talking to him. Yeah. Hey, Fletcher, how's it hanging? Short, shriveled, always to the left. And then, just trying to find a little bit more here. I love this scene where he's talking about Mr. Allen, and Miranda's trying to get back at him because he can't tell a lie, and she asked him about what he thought of him, and he said that, you know, he insulted him. And so he just ends, you know, she's trying to get back at him, and it just backfires in the most hilarious way. She's like, well, what do you think of Mr. Allen? He's a pedantic, pontificating, pretentious bastard. A belligerent old fart. A worthless, steaming pile of cow dung. Figuratively speaking. And then he just thinks that's, you know, the moment that's just going to ruin his chance at a partnership. And then Mr. Allen just breaks out laughing, busting a gut, and then all the other board members follow suit. And he's like, that's the funniest damn thing I've ever heard. You're a real card, Reed. I love a good roast. Do Simmons. Simmons is old. He should have been out of the game years ago, but he can't stay home because he hates his wife. You've met her at the Christmas parties. She's the one that gets plastered and calls him a retard. And you, Tom, you're the biggest brown nose I've ever seen. You've got your head so far up Mr. Allen's ass, I can't tell where you end and he begins. And then everyone's like just cracking up. And you in the audience, I'm watching this, I'm just rolling. And it's like, priceless. You had bad breath caused by gingivitis. You couldn't get a porn star off. Your hairpiece looks like something that was killed crossing the highway. I don't know whether to comb it or scrape it off with a shovel and bury it in lime. Loser. Idiot. Wimp. Degenerate. Slut. It was like, I like your style, Reed. That's just what this stuffy company needs. A little irreverence. Good. I'll see you later, dickhead. So, yeah, that's one of my favorite moments. Of course, the one where he goes in the elevator, you have that hot chick, and she's like, everybody's been real nice. It's like, well, that's because you've got big jugs. I mean, your boobs are huge. I mean, I want to squeeze them. Mama. And I like this line where Fletcher's talking, trying to get out of the case, and he's like, Your Honor, will the court be willing to grant me a short bathroom break? Can it wait? Yes, it can. But I've heard if you hold it, you could damage the prostate gland, making it very difficult to get an erection or even become aroused. Is that true? It has to be. In that case, I better take a quick break myself. And then, I'm just trying to find a little bit more, if there's any more. Oh yeah, when like the council, when they start the whole thing. I was like, afternoon, councilors, are we ready to begin? No, sir. We are not ready to begin because my client has not yet arrived. Samantha enters, you know, Jennifer Tilly with the children, you know, hurry up, move it. It's like, here she comes to wreck the day, Mr. Reed. Sorry, Your Honor. And then I'm going to end it with the whole big, you know, moment where he finds the revelation that he can win the case. Mrs. Cole, is this a copy of your driver's license? That's right. It says here you are blonde, are you? If you don't remember, perhaps Mr. Falk will. Brunette. Maybe we'll play the tape again. Maybe it's on there. I'm a brunette. Thank you. Now let's see. Wait, 105? Yeah, in your bra. Your Honor, I object. You would. Bastard. Hag. Quiet. Overruled. Wait. 118. Alright, fine. Fine, I'm on 27. Uh-huh. It says here you were born in 1964. That's not true either, is it? Is it? No. Please tell the court what's on your birth. Please tell the court what's on your birth certificate under date of birth. Your Honor, I object. What does this have to do with anything? Overruled. Mrs. Cole, answer the question. 1965. Now let's get this straight. That means you lied about your age to make yourself older. But why would any woman want to do that? I changed it so I could get married. and the truth shall set you free. My client lied about her age. She was only 17 when she got married, which makes her a minor. And in the great state of California, no minor can enter into any legal contract without parental consent, including prenuptial agreements. Prenuptial agreements! This contract is void. The fact that my client has been ridden more than this... Blah, 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 blah. Prenuptial agreements. This contract is void. The fact that my client has been ridden more than the Seattle Slew is irrelevant. Standard community property applies, and she's entitled to half of the marital assets of $11,395 million. Jordan fades back, swoosh, and that's the game! Nothing further, Your Honor. So, yeah, so that's pretty much... that's Liar Liar. Nothing further. I don't really need to say anything else about the movie. I hope I did Jim Carrey justice. I don't know if I did. I don't think I did that bad of a job. I could have done worse. Anyway, you know, one of my favorite Jim Carrey comedy by far. Just makes me laugh every time I see it. Just hilarious moments. The scene with the boardroom cracks me up. And I was rolling at the end with the blooper reel. The blooper reel is some of the funniest moments in the movie. It's just hilarious, you know. And, yeah, really great fun flick. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Definitely check it out. Really entertaining, fun flick. Really good comedy. One of the best comedies in the 90s. And really enjoyable. I really enjoyed the film. Great vehicle, starring vehicle for Jim Carrey. And do I have any problems? Like I said, the dramatic aspects don't really work that much. But as a comedy, it's a comedy. It's not a drama. It's a comedy. And as a comedy, it knocks it out of the park. It's also very a good running time. It's only an hour and 27 minutes. So it goes by like, you know, like a flash. And it's a very entertaining, fun flick too. So, yeah. I rate it out of 5 stars. It's my favorite Jim Carrey movie, so I'm giving it a 5. I don't really have any problems with it. Every joke works for me. Everything makes me laugh. It's got a fun tone to it. And, yeah, really enjoyable, fun flick. Anyway, I really don't know what to say about Liar Liar, except thanks for watching my review. And I'll see you guys later. See ya!